Okay, should we make a start?
Yes.
Right. So welcome to the Swansea University EU Student Information Session, and thanks for joining us today. I'm going to begin by doing some introductions to the team. So we have Joanne and Christina and myself, and we are the EU recruitment team in the international office at Swansea University. And we are delighted to be joined today by two student ambassadors. So from Swansea University, we have Theodora joining us from Cyprus, and we have Connie joining us from Poland. So today we are going to be giving a short presentation about some key points about Swansea University and about what learning will look like when you come to Swansea this semester. There'll be changes coming up with the European regulations. We felt it was important to share those with you today. There's going to be a chance to hear stories, Theodora and Connie, about life as a student in Swansea. And at the end of the presentation, it's a chance for questions and answers. Anything, we'll cover most of the key points, but if there's anything we haven't covered, then do please feel free to ask away. You can put questions in the Q&A box as we're going, but do please remember that it is a public forum that we're on today, so do be careful not to share your full name, student number, or email address or anything like that. If you do want the more personal contact with us, you can email us separately afterwards at studyabroad@swansea.ac.uk, and we'll share that again with you afterwards. So without further ado, I shall hand over to Christina, and she'll run through the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Swansea University. My name is Christina, as Jen was saying, and I work for the EU recruitment team. I'm delighted to be in this session this afternoon and talk to you and share with you some of the information that perhaps it's very important for you. Sometimes you perhaps are thinking that, you know, the time is gone, you cannot apply anymore. That's not the case. We're going to try to show you in a very condensed way how you can do your application form, how you can enroll. We're going to be talking about fees and fundings, Brexit, that word that we don't like to pronounce here much in UK. Then housing, I'm sure that you're eager to know where you're going to live, how you're going to come. And then obviously we have our student ambassadors. They have so much experience and they're going to share everything. Please make sure to ask all the questions you can possibly ask them. They know inside out. They have been there on the other side like you guys are now. So they are your best point of contact. So I hope my screen works because it wasn't working before. So bear with me. So as we talk about application, so we're still accepting students for undergraduate and postgraduate for September 2020. So you can still do your application. How do you do your application? As you can see, we have www. You can do the apply Swansea AC UK. As you can see, it's right in your screen now. If you want, we can send as well a copy of this presentation later on. Please just ask. We're going to, if you wanted to see about your entry requirement, you're just going to study Swansea AC UK as well. Is there all the entry requirement? And every time you are applying for a course as well, you're going to see that on the course you're applying itself, you have the entry requirement. So you can also press that button and you're going to see the entry requirement. English, yes, for some of the countries, I'm afraid you have to do the English test. But I have a fantastic news that this year Swansea is doing the SWELT test online. And for the first time you are applying is for free. So basically you can put your application form. We are about to release new dates because we have a set of dates and now we are just preparing for a new dates to be put on our web page. So you can do from your home. You basically don't have to go anywhere. You sit in front of your computer. There is a camera that's watching all the time and they see that you you can do the test. I have students who did, and they said that is very easy, it's not difficult. You just have to have a very good time. No, it's nearly 4 hours. So you have some breaks of 15 minutes. They let you to perhaps go and have a comfort break, but the camera is always there, okay? So I'm going to show you now how you can actually go to our apply system. On that apply system that I was showing you, the address, as you can see up there, apply Swansea UK. When you open the apply system, that's what you're going to see. And so find your course. You can, by filtering down here, as you can see, you can do UG, you can do PGT, PGR, exchange, or visiting. So there are different options there. So you can say to me, Christina, where do I apply for the postgraduate degree courses? Is either PGT or PGR. And what's the difference? One would be taught in class, and another one is more research-based. So one is, you just think about teaching, PGT, teaching, PGR, research. So it's very clear, so you can make this distinction very well. So the next one you're going to see, when you choose your course, and I put here business as PGT, you're going to see that you have different options that's going to appear. So you can press on the green button which one that is matching your choice. And you're going to create a username and a password. This username and password is going to be below. I just try to put beside here on this slide for you to see that it's quite simplistic. So you just have to put your password twice, and with your password, that is going to generate a number, which I'm going to show you now. So once you have done that, so you put your password, and you're going to generate this table that is right in front of you. And this is quite a simple one. First of all, you can see that I apply with a different mail here. So it's not the same email that you're going to contact me. Over here, you can see your application number. So this is your student number. Every time you're contacting us, please, please, please give us this number. Obviously, we can find you by your name, but if you give us your number, it's much faster. So you have an application and give you straight away, generate a number for you. And then you have your course, you have personal. So that's you're going to do your application form. You're going to put on the application form your qualifications. You're going to put, if you have any work experience, you're doing a PG, sometimes you have a work experience, or you finish university and you went straight away to do another course, or if you don't have much work experience, do not worry, because we know that if you finish your equivalent A levels for UK, you probably didn't have opportunity to do some work experience. Do not worry. Then the language. Some of the countries that we work, we accept your language certificate from your government. Others we don't, depends which country you are. So this would be a part of your certificate or not. If it's not part, as I said, you can do your English test with us, or if you have done your English test, depend on the test, for the last 2 years, average, you may be able to give us this, your English test. And then you have your statement, which is important. Don't give a big statement. A small statement where you kind of explain why you want to study and why you want to do this course. You need reference, so you have to go back to your lectures. If you are doing application for the PG, you don't you can have one working reference and one academic reference. Then fundings. We're going to talk about this later, but you don't need to you can state on your application that you are applying for fundings or you're going to pay by yourself, depends how you're going to do. And declaration. So you can see that when you do your application, usually I say to students that you just need one hand, 5 things. You need the application form, you need to have your personal statement, you need your English qualification, you need your references, and you need your transcripts, which is, you know, the qualifications that you study. So I hope this is clear for you. You can do from your home. That is not difficult. Then, if we go to our next slide, enroll. So we are open and ready to teach in September. So be assured that we understand that the difficulties that unfortunately this whole last few months have changed our lives and must be difficult for you guys, because probably you're looking forward to come to another culture, to learn a few things, but we are preparing. The health and safety are our priority. So be no mistake that we have you as our first priority. So that's why it's taking a little bit time for us to do all the preparations, because we have to work with the government guidelines. So just for you to have an idea, if we have 1 meter, you know, distance from people, we have a certain number of students in the lab or in the library. If we have 2 meters, is another number of students, and this may make a lot of difference in terms of what we allowed or not allowed. So all the programs is going to be delivered this year in probably the 2 systems. We're going to deliver face, and some of the programs is going to be delivered in the classroom. We will deliver, the enrollments obviously would be online, so you can do online, and also the induction. This all going to be usually by the last week of September. And we will assist you with all the documents that you need. And you may talk about the quarantine, because the quarantine, some countries still have, they have to have quarantine, so other countries don't have. Until September, a lot of things could change. So please be assured that we keep updating our website. And that's, I think, the best way for you to know the latest information is to go to our website. We have 1 page dedicated just for COVID-19, and you can see all the information about the latest information. So please go to that page. Next, next. Right, fees and funding. That's a burning question. And if you are applying for September 2020, and if you are coming to UK, to Swansea to study September 2020, your fee is guaranteed for the duration of your course. You might have a course for 3 years or 4 years. Sometimes you may need a foundation, sometimes you want to do a master's together with your course. If you're doing your PG as well, you valid for the whole year. Is slightly different the way it works. When you do your bachelor degree, you will do your application form. There is an application form N20. On this application form, you have to fill up all the forms, all the details about yourself, and you have to sign up and send. You must send that paper to us. On the master's degree as well, you're going to fill up the form, but it works slightly different, because the value that you're seeing here, which is 17,489, it will be put in your bank account in 3 installments. So you're going to receive the payment and you're going to be paying the university direct. So they usually are kind of connected with the time. So universities are prepared for that. So more information, you can go to the Student Finance Wales, as you can see. And we also have the scholarships. You probably want to know about the scholarships. So if you are studying subjects that are related to science, you know, STEM for us is everything that's related to science, you still would be able to apply for £2,000 scholarship. Next slide. Brexit. Brexit. Oh, what a name! Is almost a swear name that became in the Brexit dictionary. Let me assure you that we're having Brexit, but we really welcome you. You know, the whole EU is still very welcome. I'm part of the EU and I'm still here and I'm working here. So, and my colleagues, actually we are a whole EU team, we could say, and we are all here working and very happy. Don't be misled that the British don't want you to see EU coming to here. No. It's just that unfortunately that was a decision that was made a few years back, but that is from December 31st. That's going to be slightly changed. We know that probably is going to be some visa control, which is not clear, totally clear yet how it's going to work these restrictions. After this transition period, there is going to be a lot of negotiation and a lot of things could change. We don't know. We just have to be open. As you can see, things change overnight. The international campus life, we have a group of people there. It's just helping you to actually do your visa, do your paperwork. So be assured that we are always beside you, helping you. They will help you to do your application form as living in UK for your settlement. So you should be feeling really relaxed because in UK, they do understand that coming to another country, because you probably be anxious, you go to another country, to another culture, they do understand that. And they basically almost holding hands to help you. So immigration is something that is very important for us here. So EU students for 21-22 will be subject to immigrations. So yes, immigration is going to count on here, but I'm sure that a good sense will prevail. And I think that we will find out more later on. We still don't know how it's going to work. Housing. Beautiful, housing. So when you come to Swansea and you apply for the university, you receive a message straight away giving you opportunities to apply for housing. Once your offer become unconditional offer, you receive a message. So you can live with us, which can vary from 95 to 158 pounds. And then obviously you have ensuite, not ensuite, you live in one campus, you live a little bit farther from the campus. There are a variety of opportunities that you can apply. Like if you're going to rent any flat or any room where you are, the same goes here. We have private accommodations that sometimes becomes a little bit cheaper because a group of students try to rent together. This option, usually they go on the second year because you have time to make your friends, you have time to see the people that you feel more relaxed. And we have as well accommodations that the university manage as a private as well. And you have obviously these accommodations that you can apply yourself. And you can live as well on the residential service. So there are different types of accommodation that you could choose. Applications are open now. You don't have to pay a fee, so you don't have to pay any fee. You have just to put a deposit. Obviously, you have your offer. You have an unconditional offer. Everything is open. You are clear that you're coming. So you put your deposit. But if by any chance something happened that is not you who kind of changed just to say, oh, Christina, I just changed, I'm going to another place. So if you go to another place, you may lose. But if something happens, we are prepared to have a look to see what's happened. And the quarantine plans currently is being developed. So as I said, from the beginning, we don't know what's going to happen. And I just had a student today that was talking about how a student who's coming from another country who's going to be here for 14 days now, how they're going to be eating and how it's going to be working. It's not clear yet. So I think I have to pass to my colleagues now. I think I talked too much. I'm going to pass to perhaps Connie and to Theodora, because I think they are much more fun than me, because they can tell you the real stuff. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Christina. So I think we start with Theodora, and if you want to begin and tell us a little bit about your experience as a student in Swansea, maybe a little bit about when you first arrived and what the students who are tuning into this webinar might be up against, and maybe relive your own experience and how that felt and how maybe you overcame things. Just let's hear your story. Thank you.
So hello guys. Well, it's a little bit difficult to like shrink everything over my 3 years in like 5 minutes. But what I was going to say, first of all, I'm studying business management with a pathway at human resources. So I'm based in School of Management in the brand new Bay campus. So what I would say is like, it was my first time in the UK when I came. Now I'm a third year. And I was so scared. I didn't know. I've never been to the UK. I've never lived alone. I've never been away from my parents for a long time. So I was quite scared, leaving my friends, came here alone, didn't really know anyone. But it's just like, it was an amazing experience and I'm so glad I did, because as soon as you come, you realize that you're not the only one. There's so many other people who feel the same way, no matter where you're coming from or where you live or anything. So that's like the first thing. So don't worry about being scared or about not being able to live alone. Like you kind of get the hang of it and you're not the only one. And there's a bunch of people to help you. One of the main reasons that I chose Swansea is that it gives you like a sense of family, community, belonging somewhere, and people who really genuinely care about you and your well-being and figuring out stuff, not just your academic excellence. Now, when it comes to like academic, I was like, obviously my first language is not English, so I was quite worried about it. But there were so many services and ways that I could like get better and improve at my skills. And I saw that like, we usually think that, oh wow, the UK students are going to be so much better than us. However, we have strengths in other areas, like not the language maybe. So you get to improve on that. I got to improve on my essay skills and stuff like that, which was amazing. When it comes to the student life now, like there isn't a day that there's nothing happening. Like I think I've never like woken up in the morning and my friends didn't call me up to be like, oh, there's this tonight, do you want to go? Or there's this today, do you want to go? So there's always something to do, a free time. If you have free time, there's probably something around. And if you're not into like just nightlife, don't worry, there's a bunch of things to do, from sports to societies to a lot of experiences and a lot of things you get to do. I was personally into dance and acting, so I joined those societies. But my friends went for like surfing and skiing and all of that, which I could try as well, even if you never do it. So like, I think that's a sum up as much as I could give. Feel free to ask me any questions you want. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Theodora. Connie, would you like to say a few words about your experience?
Yeah, hi. So I'm from Poland, and same as Theodora, when I moved to UK, that was my first time in UK in general when I moved to Swansea, and that was a bit overwhelming. It was the first time I was living alone on my own, but really Swansea made me feel welcome. There's also a big Polish community, so that was good for me, and also Polish shops, so I felt a bit more at home sometimes. But it's also very varied ethnically and also like diverse community, so everyone can feel welcome there and find someone from their own country. So if they need someone, they all will have someone and not feel homesick. I was studying marine biology for 3 years, and I can only recommend it. It was really great, and the involvement of the staff and the teachings of the lecturers was just tremendous, and their help and support, tutoring, and helping with the projects was just amazing, and I think it's top level. Definitely, as Theodora said, there's lots of going on. There's lots of parties, clubs going on. There's lots of events done by the Students' Union and plenty of societies that encourage us to either go for ecological or other events kind of thing, or like beach cleaning. So it's great to like socialize, find new friends, but also do something great for the community. So, and also there's lots of support at the university from different departments, or like money on campus or advice center. So I felt that I was on my own in a different country and different rules, different laws, but I had someone that would explain it to me if I had problems. So I felt really there's some guardian over me there. Really liked it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. So that's the end of our prepared part, if you like. So we've opened up to questions and answers, and we've got a few that are just come in while we've been talking. So let me just check and see. Let me see. So one question, and if I can ask Joanne, you've been quiet so far. We'll ask Joanne a question. Someone would like to know that they aren't sure, but if they defer their studies until 2021, what fees will they pay?
So at the minute, the Welsh Government haven't made an announcement about fees for the academic year 21-22. But the government that governs the English universities has confirmed that EU students beginning their studies in the year 2021, that they will be liable to pay international fees instead of EU and home fees. So what that means is that we are expecting a similar announcement from the Welsh Government quite soon. And so any student who's thinking about deferring their offer from this September until next September, our advice is that you will most probably be subject to new immigration rules and different fees. So if you can at all begin your studies this September, our recommendation is to definitely try and do it this year to make sure that you have access to the EU fees and to the funding regulations as well.
That's great. And one actually, if you don't mind, Joanne, is one that's linked to that as well. And we know Christina already said about the quarantine that we're unclear on that. What if I cannot get there in time for the first day of the course?
Yeah, so the university's been working really hard to make sure that we have options for all students. So one of the big things that we've been working on is making sure that for students who are coming from outside of the UK, that there's flexibility, that if you cannot make it here on the very first day of your course, all of our enrollment and the first days of teaching will happen online. So what we are saying to students at the minute is if you cannot get here on the very first day, get here when you can. So we're making sure that everything is online to begin with. And then once you're able to make it to Swansea, then you can make it here. And that also applies to students who perhaps can arrive in time for the first day of class, but perhaps may need to quarantine for 14 days, that the same thing would happen to them. They would begin their classes online and then move to the online classes that are available once they can.
That's great, thank you. I've got one for our student ambassadors. Maybe Theodora, you could answer, how did you go about finding your accommodation?
Great question. Well, I think for the first year, I I decided to go with the accommodation that the university was offering, which I think it's a really good idea for a first year, and I would really recommend it because it really helps you find friends, find people who you have who you have common things with, and it also helps you with the transition from being home to living on your own, because you still get like cleaner sometimes, and you still like have other people to live with, so you learn some things, you still have the safety, so you get to like, it's a good transition. So it's a middle state, let's say, from living completely on your own. And then on my second year and third year, I did want to see how it is to live completely on my own and handle things like garbage and cancel and stuff like that. So I did move with a friend of mine. I would say not too many people, but at the same time, if you are in good terms, because sometimes when you're with your friends doesn't mean that you can live with them. So you should pick carefully. But there are a lot of choices available. I just picked a flat that I really liked, and it was like close to what I needed. It was budgeted. It was really, really nice. And I think that was a great idea and a great thing to do, because it helped me see how it is to really be a UK resident, let's say, or a local, which, you know, lives there and handles their own thing. And it helps you be more independent and feel like you're a grown-up, an adult. And I feel after that I can live anywhere I want to after my second and third year experience. But yeah.
So easy enough. That's great. Thank you. And then linked to that, another one about which Connie, can you help us with? The question is, how expensive is it to live in Swansea? So we know that officially in rankings, we are the third most affordable UK university city. But actually in your experience then, can you tell us anything about how expensive it was?
I think I can have a good take on this since I'm from Poland and the conversion rate from zloty to pound is not very good for me. So I found something really affordable. And in the first year, I didn't have any additional jobs or anything. So I had only what my parents gave me, and I was completely able to survive on that. Food is relatively cheap. Meats and stuff like this is definitely cheap. I did not eat like out every week, but I know people who do that, and they can live with that. As to any entertainment, cinemas are not too expensive either, or memberships at the gym, especially near the university, are quite affordable. So that's good for students that want to keep active. The most expensive thing I think is in UK in general is the public transport, but then you can get cheap bikes in Swansea that I found. There is a shop there. So that's another alternative for people that don't have a car or don't want to walk. So it's not really expensive, it's really affordable, especially for Eastern European students like me.
Perfect, thank you. Just having a little look on questions now. Okay, one for Christina, can you answer? So are there any scholarships available for EU students? You're just on mute still, Christina.
I keep doing that, guys, sorry. A scholarship, very good question. And if you are a EU student and if you have done really well, what we would say in UK, the equivalent of 3 A's, you would be entitled to have £3,000 scholarship. Or if you didn't do so well, but did well enough, so you have equivalent, what we would say for us here, 2 A's and a B, you would be entitled to £2,000 as undergraduate degree. So this is a kind of a scholarship that unfortunately the money doesn't come to your hands, but goes straight to your fee. So basically they deduct to the fee that you have to pay for the university. So obviously your loan with the Welsh funding is just lower if you have a very high grades. If you do not have very high grades, we do not have other alternatives in terms of scholarships for EU students. We have as well the scholarships for the STEM subjects, which is up to 2,000 as well. And if you are studying like this very serious sciencey, you know, kind of mathematics, physics, I don't know, medical, you also can apply for those scholarships. But I would advise you to always go to our page, because there you can see very clear all the scholarships that are there, and things sometimes change. So please just double check in our website.
That's great, thank you. There's a sort of two-in-one question. If I can ask this to you, Joanne. Let me see, I put it the right way around. So will I need to apply for a visa, and will there be any help to know what I need to do to apply for the EU settlement scheme? So I guess they're interlinked, that's dependent for next year after December 31st.
Yeah, so there's a lot of confusion at the minute across the EU for students that do I need to apply for a visa? If I do, when do I need to apply for it? But the biggest piece of information is that any student that begins this September, nothing will change. So any student who arrives this September, they do not need to have a visa. Instead, for them, they would apply for what's called an EU settlement scheme. So it's completely free. It's like the easiest form of a visa that you could apply for. And we have a team on campus that holds regular sessions to help students to do it. And this is available for any EU citizen that arrives in the UK before the 31st of December 2020. So any student that begins their studies this year, they won't need a visa. The EU pre-settled status that they will have means that they're allowed to stay in the UK for 5 years without the need of a visa. Any student who begins their studies in 2021, so any student who arrives in the UK after the 1st of January 2021, they will become subject to the new migration rules. So students who arrive after January, that they would most likely have to apply for a visa. So as Christina mentioned in the presentation, the full details have yet to be announced by the UKVI, but they have confirmed that it will be a visa process. So our recommendation again, and it's linked to the fees and funding as well, that any student can and who wants to go to the UK this September, the recommendation is if you're thinking about whether to take a gap year, the recommendation would be to study first and take a gap year at the end so that you can take full advantage of not needing a visa, having the lower fees and being able to access the funding.
That's perfect, thank you. So a question, it's always about money. Theodore and Connie can give us your experience. What job opportunities did you find in Swansea for students? So, and is it easy to find part-time work? I guess it depends how much you're studying, how many hours you have, etc. But what was your experience? Do you want Connie to go first?
I've had my first part-time job in Swansea, I think in the second year, that I found on a window posted on the post office actually. So that was just a coincidence there. But I know there's plenty of jobs for students, you know, at bars, cafes, shops, and also you can work as the student ambassador, which I highly recommend. If you're studying studying Swansea, you should definitely apply for it as soon as possible, because this is a great opportunity, and then you can go further into the senior student ambassador, which is also great. Apart from that, you could try to get internships depending on what you're of course studying. Like I did, I got an internship in an aquaculture facility, and I managed to balance that also with studying in another part-time job that I had. So it's doable, definitely. It depends how open you are to different possibilities and how flexible you are and willing to work, of course.
Yeah, thanks. And what about you, Theodore? Did you find part-time work when you were there?
Yeah, I definitely did. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and like at the moment I have 2 part-time jobs because the thing is everyone knows that we are students, so everyone is super nice, even if you're not going through the university, even at a restaurant or something that I worked before, they knew that we were students, so they told me, like, for example, if it's your shift and you have a coursework next day, then it's okay, don't come in, I'll change your shift. So they know that, they're super nice, they're very flexible, and you get paid, I would say really well. Like, I don't know how what the minimum is in each country, but in mine, this is what I was getting. It was really good. But definitely I would say do it, because that it's not only about like getting some extra money, it's also about like the experience, and that you can put in your CV and someone could see that you did something, because they don't look just at a degree anymore, the people that are going to hire you in the future. So like for me, it was the student ambassador, and then because I wasn't really into restaurants, I got back to Reach and Wider, which is again helping kids and working with them to do stuff. So like, even if you're not into like the classic restaurant job or whatever, there's a lot of things you can do and a lot of experience. Just have a look.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. And actually, Joanne, on that point, I'm just thinking, is there any change in eligibility about working part-time after January, whenever the EU regulations?
Yeah, it ties in quite nicely actually, because what we as a university always recommend is that no student works more than 20 hours per week during term time, because the reason that all students are with us is to be able to further their education. So at the minute for EU students, there's no regulation around the amount of hours that they can work per week. But for students who come under Tier 4 visa regulations, they can work a maximum of 20 hours a week during term time. So the fact that we as a university recommend students don't work more than 20 hours a week anyway ties in with the regulations. So for students who arrive in September, yes, by all means, the majority of our EU students find work as soon as they come here. They want to work, they want to help support themselves while they're here. Like Connie was saying, that the exchange rates for different countries can be quite different. So sometimes students need to work to help support themselves. So the good news is that even with the visa regulations, students can still work 20 hours per week during term time. And then when it's the summer holidays or the Easter vacation, then there is no restriction on the amount of hours. But all of that information will be communicated to students as and when we have the information from the UKVI to share.
That's great, lovely. There's a couple more, just one. Christina, could you jump in on this one? Will I have access to a doctor or healthcare when I'm in Swansea?
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely you have access to the doctors and to healthcare. Actually, we have doctors in the campus, so you could perhaps register what we call the GP, general practitioners. So once you arrive, the girls are nodding, so they say when you're arriving, obviously you can go there and register, because you're going to be here 3-4 years, so you can register. So this is going to be the doctors that whatever you have, even if sometimes you need to see a specialist, you have to go first to the doctor. A very interesting thing that some international students find is that in Wales, you actually don't pay for your medication. I don't know if you, it's different in England. In England, whatever you need for the medication, you have to pay. So it's also include, so when you go and get your prescriptions, you can go and get the medication that you need for whatever reason is part of that. Did you say something else about health as well?
It was a doctor. It was about finding a doctor in healthcare, because we got the dentist on campus as well. So.
That we also have a dentist in the campus. So obviously it's part of all your well-being. And in the blue times, if there is a blue time for you or not, we also have the service that kind of help you if you wanted to talk to someone about something that you're feeling. We also have this service in the campus. So the campus is quite a holistic one, because we are campus based. So you have all the service in one place, which makes your life a little bit easier, I would say. I don't know if the girls agree with me here, but I think makes life easier. Is that correct? Because you're just going to pop in. Sometimes you just between classes, you go to the doctor and come back to your next class. I think that happened. I have seen a lot of students doing that. So I think it's easier. Yes, thank you.
Thanks very much. So there's no more questions.
I think Joan wants to say something.
Yes, do please jump in.
Yes, just to add into the question about health and accessing the health system, So the only other recommendation that we would make is that all of our EU students apply for the European Health Insurance Card from their home country before they come. So that's just the kind of transition between EU countries, just to make sure that students make that application, so that, and that will allow them to have full access to the healthcare system then, if forbid that they have to use the hospital at any stage. So in order to access the GPs and stuff, that's fine, you don't need it. But for the kind of bigger types of things, that it's the European Health Insurance Card that they should bring with them as well.
That's perfect. Lovely. So I don't know if we want to round up. Does Connie and Theodora, do you want to tell us very in brief, I don't know, one great thing about Swansea each, maybe? Is there one word? Is there one sentence? Is there one place or something that you think is, have I put you on the spot?
I was asked once on a Swansea interview, because I'm a third year, a word for when I came and a word for when I left. Like now, 3 years later, if there's a word. And what I said is that I would use the exact same word, which is excitement, but in a different way. So what I would say is like, I was so excited to come here. Was one of the best experiences of my life for sure, if not the best. And like now I'm just excited to like put in use everything that Swansea University has given me, and just like put it out in the world and give back in a way through all the knowledge that I was given and all the care and skills that I was given through Swansea. So I would say excitement.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Well, if I had to give one word from my experience at Swansea Uni, I would say, I think employability, because I see that Swansea puts a lot of emphasis on that in our education and in practicals. And I think that's one of the most important things, because after you finish your studies, you want to find a job. And I think that after Swansea, I'll definitely find something, because I feel like I have lots of practical skills that will prove invaluable in the job market.
That's great to hear, and it's certainly one of our strengths as a university as well. We're very proud of that, and we won the What's Uni award in 2019, and that came out as highly ranked as one of the reasons for student experience and employability afterwards as well. So that's great to hear from you. Lovely.
Can I just say, as like a student who was coming in, I would just say, don't think about the rankings as much as you think. What I mean is like, just because you see the academic excellence ranking doesn't mean that like look at all the rankings. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, don't just look at one and base yourself on one. There's like a lot of things: student satisfaction, employability, graduations, prospects, a lot of things to look. So like do an overview and then decide on like a ranking, because it's easy to say, oh, this is first and second, but there's a lot of things to look at. Sorry for.
No, that's good advice. Well done. Well, thank you all. That brings us to the end of the webinar, and thanks for joining. Thanks for all your questions. I hope you've learned plenty along the way as well. If you were just listening in, do please feel free to contact us. Again, as we mentioned before, you can email us directly at studyabroad@swansea.ac.uk. You can look us up on the website as well. And if it's anything college or course specific, we can put you in touch with those individual colleagues who can help you out. Okay, but thank you very much, and goodbye from all of us. Look forward to seeing you in Swansea soon.